Meanwhile, the Meteorological Agency says the southern sector of Ghana should brace for more rain between June and July. Head of the department at the Kotoka International Airport, Amos Nam, on today's Big Story, said Ghana, like many other parts of the West African sub-region, is already in the monsoon zone, hence the rains.
Now we are looking at southern Ghana,
Southern
June and
Ghana.
July.
Okay.
Yes, for the southern district. So that will be made up of the coastal areas, then the forest regions. June is actually the peak of the rainy season.
Yeah.
That is the major season for this part of the country. So we will be expecting that, like what happened today, we could have such situations occurring during the month. I would not say it will occur every day, but for most parts of June, then into July, we could have this type of sporadic rains coming in.
Okay. And what you said, we may have cases of rains like we are having today.
Yes.
Would it be more frequent, this type of rain?
Well, I would say for June it could be frequent. Yeah.
Okay.
June and July, because by August the rains will have ceased over southern Ghana.
The Environmental Protection Agency Thursday mobilized volunteers to plant at least 2,000 trees to mark World Environment Day. The exercise, according to the EPA, is a symbolic gesture to help reduce carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere.
Some corporate organizations, NGOs and school children joined the EPA to plant the mahogany trees. The exercise at Damfa in the Greater Accra region is one of the several interventions by the EPA to mitigate the impact of climate change in Ghana.
So as you plant trees, we're saying the tree should absorb carbon dioxide, keep it, so that we reduce the volume of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. By that, you are reducing the temperature of the atmosphere. If EPA wasn't there, what would have happened in this country? There would have been great indiscriminate use of our resources, haphazard development of infrastructure, not going by any regulations, no awareness creation, and think about it, we would have been in a mess. Even with EPA, because we are not everywhere, we have challenges.
This year's international celebration has been dedicated to small island states such as Kiribati and the Maldives to increase awareness to the dangers they face as sea levels rise. If this problem goes unchecked, unprepared countries like Ghana also faces the challenge of devastating floods.
The emission of carbon dioxide leads to increase in temperature. So the ice are being melted, leading to more water being available, and we also have erratic rainfall patterns leading to floods.
The trees were planted on a 50-acre land at Damfa, acquired by the EPA to develop a green city complex which will house the EPA's headquarters. The complex is expected to introduce environmentally friendly building practices.
The Ministry of Health has ordered management of Korle Bu Teaching Hospital to return 9 cars purchased for its directors. Public Relations Officer of the Ministry, Tony Goodman, explains this is because due process was not followed in the procurement of the vehicles. The decision by the management board to purchase the vehicles has sparked public controversy and accusations of misapplication of the hospital's funds. The cars, VW Passats, were bought under a hire purchase agreement available to individuals and agencies under the Ministry of Health. Korle Bu is using internally generated funds to buy the cars and is to pay 21,000 Ghana cedis per month for 3 years. The unit cost of each car is 82,290 Ghana cedis. But the Senior Staff Association of the hospital, in a petition sent to President John Mahama, fired off accusations of misapplication of funds meant for healthcare services. Both the acting CEO of the hospital and the board chair defended the purchase, insisting it was with the blessing of the Ministry of Health. The PRO of the ministry, however, says checks have revealed The Minister for Health, Sherry Ayite, had not received any letter requesting for the cars. He explained the minister has halted the acquisition because using internally generated funds to buy the cars ought to follow a properly laid down procedure. He added that alternatively, the directors in need of the vehicles should apply individually for the cars and pay from their salary. The ministry is also questioning the rationale behind using internally generated funds to buy vehicles when monies the hospital owed the ministry had not been paid. We'll take a break. We have more stories. 11 suspected armed robbers have been arrested in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. According to police, the robbers belong to different gangs, intimidating residents in the region. A report by Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin.
The Regional Police Command says the suspected criminals and their accomplices have been terrorizing residents in Kumasi, especially taxi drivers and passengers. They are set to either rob or snatch their victims' valuables, including money, mobile phones and cars. All the 11 suspects were arrested at various locations in the metropolis following a tip-off by some victims and informants. One of the arrested suspects, 13-year-old Dennis Chemantin Adembe, has been on police wanted list for assisting series of armed robbery cases in the metropolis. In 2012, he was sentenced to 6 months in prison but managed to escape in 2 months. Another suspect, Emmanuel Oko, a Nigerian national, was also arrested in connection with the murder of a 40-year-old woman in Kumasi. Some of the suspects were also arrested for car snatching. 2 cars, a Mercedes-Benz with registration number GE3297V and a Mitsubishi Aveo with no registration number, is currently in the custody of the police. At a press briefing, Ashanti Region Police Commander DCOP Nathan Kofi Boache assured the public that the police will leave no stone unturned in combating crime. He called on the public to assist the police with information that will lead to the arrest of perpetrators.
We need magazine, we need Babangida, we need Bindiga, and we need Baba. Until we arrest these people, we are not going to rest, and I cannot say that the city is clean of armed robbers. And as you might realize, we have a lot of homegrown armed robbers, as manifested by this 13-year-old boy. And the problem we are facing now in the region is for people to come forward to identify armed robbers. The reason is that because of the communal nature of our system, all the armed robbers have their siblings, their parents, their relatives in Kumasi. So people find it very difficult to come and identify them with the fear that their relatives will attack them.
All the suspects are to be arraigned before courts for prosecution.
Welcome to the business news. Jubilee field operator Talo Oil can now go ahead and flare gas. The Environmental Protection Agency gave the green light after government stated it had no objection to the request. The Jubilee operator has been re-injecting gas into the field for some time now due to the delay in completing the gas processing plant at Tutuabo in the Western region, in the process reducing the amount of crude produced from the field. The flaring should boost production by a few more thousand barrels. Executive Director of the EPA, Daniel Amlalo, who confirmed the approval in a telephone interview with Joy News, however, explained the flaring, which will continue until the plant is expected to be completed, will be conditional, and that the operator will have to satisfy some requirements if the flaring has to go beyond agreed limits. Ghana had outlawed the flaring of gas to minimize the distraction to the environment from crude production activities and to also ensure that the country's gas reserves are exploited rather than being made to burn away. The delay in starting the Tutuabo gas plant is estimated to cost Talo Oil about $100 million in sales this year. Well, the Ghana National Petroleum Authority is Ghana National Petroleum corporation is working towards becoming a global oil exploration firm, just like the Chevrons of this world, in the next 3 years. Established by an act of parliament as a regulator of the petroleum sector, the corporation has recently transformed itself into a player in the oil and gas sector, ceding the regulatory functions to the Petroleum Commission. Chief Executive Alex Mould says they are also taking steps to increase their capital to give real meaning to this goal. He also indicated Ghana's oil and gas sector is beginning to attract the major players who have now come to appreciate its potential.
Once GNPC has the capability to do that, we will be able to use the same financial engineering as everybody has done to be able to leverage on the data you have. There are banks and financial institutions who have been doing this for years, and they finance the oil and gas industry. They finance whether you are in exploration state, whether you are in the appraisal state, or whether you're in a development or production state. All banks they play in different areas. And we believe that GNPC, in a very short while, should be in a position to be like how Tullow was when they came to Ghana and looked for the oil.
The Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry is calling for the total removal of all the recently introduced foreign exchange measures. According to the Chamber, the measures, instead of stabilizing the Ghana cedi, have caused many businesses to collapse. Speaking to Joy Business at the Royal Bank Entrepreneurship Forum, President of the Chamber, Seth Ejebam, says the Bank of Ghana needs to act now to prevent more businesses from going down.
Let's take it as somebody imported goods $100,000 somewhere in January. He has 120 days. At the time of importing, the dollar was 2.2. Today, the dollar is 3.12 or 3.2. If he should transfer the same money today, he needs 320,000 Ghana cedi, as against 220,000 when the goods came in. The person had given the goods out to people on credit to be paid over 30 days period. You cannot go to the people to increase prices. So the people pay the money to you. You need to top it up 100,000 before you can transfer. If you are not able to get 100,000 Ghana cedis to top up, it means that you have defaulted and your suppliers will not supply you again. Where is the business? People are walking to the office to ask what we can do. All that we can do is to talk to government, engage government for them to look at the policies.
Chief Executive of the Private Enterprise Federation, Nana Osei-Bonzo, is pressing for government to make available some financial resources that will cushion businesses in these difficult economic times. Businesses have been complaining about how they are reeling under the pressure of high operational costs, which they attribute mainly to high taxes and erratic power supply, among others. The Federation has in recent past bemoaned how the power outages are negatively affecting productivity in the private sector. Nana Osei-Bonzo, however, says the situation appears to be getting out of hand. Leasing Company Limited has launched its Cash Dash promotion, which gives free cash to government workers who take loans from them. The promo was also used to launch Daylex Paddy.
Daylex Paddy describes the friendly and ethical service provided by the Daylex sales force of over 750 agents nationwide. Chief Executive Officer of the Daylex Finance, Ken Thompson, said the current economic climate creates the strong temptation to borrow more than may be prudent, and stated Daylex Finance is exercising leadership in the sector by promoting ethical lending.
You know, if I can get my sales executives to practice in an ethical behavior, and if I can get other people to follow, it will raise the standard of the industry overall. I mean, one of the challenges we have all around us is mediocrity, and somebody has to show leadership. So it will raise the standard for everybody, and ultimately the consumers will benefit. We've got to work hard, and we've got to eat local produce. And unless we cure our addiction, we'll end up in the same place.
He said the Daylex Paddy ensures that clients are aware of the full costs of the loan rather than simply advertising speed and accessibility of funds, and also does not push clients to borrow more than they need. Daylex Finance has also been undertaking a massive nationwide retraining program since last year to transform its sales agents to improve customer service as part of its rebranding.
The European Union and its 8 participating member states have undertaken to give Ghana a total of 1.5 billion euros over the next 3 years. And the multi-annual indicative program, which was initiated in 2013, the funds are expected to go into 3 main areas, namely governance, agriculture, and social protection. The EU joint programming in Ghana is amongst a number of measures aimed at enhancing the effectiveness and impacts of development cooperation by providing a single strategy to guide development partner support.
The EU joint programming brings together countries like the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Spain, France, Czech Republic and Denmark. Head of the EU delegation, Claude Martin, said Ghana deserves the support because of its democracy, rule of law and economic transformation.
We have been able to put in place the joint programming first because Ghana and development partners in Ghana have developed the Ghana's Compact 2012-2022 on leveraging partnership for shared growth and development, which was signed by the government and by 15 development partners. So this is the basis to define the response strategy of each of the development partners. At the EU level, we have decided to go beyond and to see what we can merge together so that we are more coherent in our action to give support to Ghana. So that's really what we want to do, and also to have with you a better interaction of what is required to continue to support Ghana.
Deputy Minister of Finance Ato Forson promised the funds will be channeled into the areas identified.
As I understand, the event will be climaxed by the signing of the joint programming MIP. Government continues to initiate and implement medium and long-term fiscal and monetary policies that will seek to address some of our current challenges that we face. Government is therefore undoubtedly committed to optimize the use of the available resources, both domestically and externally, like those of the provided by the EU and the external members, particularly the member states, to achieve maximum impact and to boost our collective effort aimed at achieving MDG and also to achieve our full-fledged middle income status, as we've always been talking about.
He said the fund would aid the economy to achieve the MDGs and consolidate its middle income status.